please don't forget to like and subscribe to help my channel grow. Thank you. Hello and welcome to my video running through a commentary drive on a real-life driving test heading out from Kettering Driving Test Centre. So I'm going to run through everything en route, any little tips or tricks on this particular route itself, and just generally what I think she did really well on her test here. So as we're coming out of the test centre here, really making sure that you get effective observations each way before pulling out onto the main road here. And this is actually an industrial estate, so you do need to be very careful of any HGVs and lorries driving around these bends here. This one in particular, as we come up here, if they're coming round the corner, they are most likely going to be using some of your side of the road, so you do need to be very cautious as you approach this corner here. Now this first roundabout on approach here isn't really, it doesn't really tend to be that busy. Now the following roundabout, it's quite a busy roundabout, and obviously it's going to be within the first minute of your test. So you really need to make sure that you're taking your time, approach it slowly, give yourself plenty of time to think it through, because you're going to be nervous and you don't want to end up making any unsafe decisions. So you can see here she's approaching at a safe speed, good positioning. Now she's going straight ahead, third exit on this one. Now don't be confused with the third exit thinking you need the right lane. Again, just listening to that whole instruction, you're following the road ahead, third exit, so you're going to use that left lane outside positioning. Now really bearing in mind the gradient here, so you're on approach to this roundabout uphill, so you're going to have to think about your use of gears. If you do have to slow down, consider coming down through the gears on that one. You don't want to be pulling off and struggling as you enter the roundabout. So as we come down here, the instruction is going to be at the next roundabout to turn right. Now as we can see, this is a dual carriageway, so you'll need to get over into that right hand lane. I would have liked to have seen her move over with a bit more time to spare, but regardless, she done well. We're here, we're in the correct lane, and she manages to get round safely. Now they do sometimes like to pull you up on the left on this hill, and that does count as one of your hill starts for the test, so do bear that in mind. But we're going to be taking the next right turning here. Now on this particular test, she has got the independent driver following the road signs. So as she does a pull up on the left here, she's going to be instructed on what destination she needs to follow at the next planning board, and it will remain the same until she gets told otherwise. So here we're now following to the Midlands. Okay, so we had a good pull off on the hill there, no rolling back, so we're off to a good start and on approach to the roundabout. Now this can be quite a tricky roundabout to pull out of again here, because you haven't got that long side view. You're coming up to the short side, so traffic can come round from there quite quickly without much warning. So you do have to make sure you're ready to go and you pull off swiftly on this one. Okay, again another really good pull off there, and we should be going right fourth exit towards A14 the Midlands. So we just passed one. We have our second exit here towards Wellingborough, our third exit here towards Pytchley, so we should now be checking and signalling to come out. Yeah, great positioning there, off towards the the A14. So we can see here this slip road does have 2 lane options. So we have this one on the left here that becomes its own lane, and the one on the right that merges into that centre lane there. So she's chosen this left lane, which is always a great option. Get you so you can build your speed up along here without any worries of merging. Now, when you're on the A14, it is important that if it's safe to do so, you make progress. Now, she's now been instructed to follow signs to the train station, which is going to be at junction 8. So we don't have too long on the carriageway, but definitely enough time here to make some progress, overtake this truck here, and then come back in. So we can see here she's bit undecided on whether she's making enough progress on this car ahead here, but it's always a good idea to leave that slip road open in case anyone tries to merge onto there anyway. So she's recognised now that we're not making any more progress. The slip road's now finished and we can come back across into that left-hand lane. We see here now we do have signs to the station, so there's definitely no need to make any further progress. The last thing you want is to come out, overtake, and then have to struggle and try and get back in quickly because your exit's coming up. It's too stressful. Just as soon as you see your sign and your half-mile warning, making sure you're in lane ready to exit at the junction that you need. So here we've got our 3 counter, our 2 counter, so now we'll be signalling off for our junction following signs to the station. Now if you get early observations on this one, you can see from the planning board that the train station is on the right hand side of the roundabout, so then you exit onto the right hand side. She's exited on the left. It's not an issue. She just waits until it's a safe opportunity to then switch over to the right hand lane and safely does so. So here we've got following to the train station, right 3rd exit. Now on approach here we can see from that bridge there that actually the roundabout's looking a little bit busy at the moment. It's always good to get those early observations in on approach there. Now because this is such a elongated roundabout, the traffic does come really quite quickly from that right hand side, so you definitely need to make sure you've got enough time when you're pulling out on this one. Now as we come around here, as I said, it's right 3rd exit, so we have that first exit to the left there, and then straight away here we have the 2nd exit. So what should happen here is she should check her left side, signal and come across to the outside like the car did behind us. She doesn't quite get that, but however she still stays safe. So you see that's the exit we should have taken. She recognises that and just informs the examiner, I've missed it, so I'm just going to drive back round and then safely take the exit on my next loop round, which is absolutely fine. No faults were given for this because she remained safe. The examiner knew exactly what she was doing, and as she comes round on her 2nd loop here, she gets that mirror and signal across to the outside in good time, and then we're able to take the exit that we intended previously. So at the moment we're still following signs to the train station. Now at this next roundabout, it's actually quite a small roundabout, so you really need to make sure that you maintain your left outside position when you're following straight on here. So she gets a good position around the outside, not impeding on any traffic that would be turning right on that one. So heading down here, we're now on approach to the double mini roundabout. Now, she's now been instructed to follow signs towards the town centre, So we have a change of direction now, but she deals with this really well, great positioning. So yeah, if you have a look here, this is exactly how you would position yourselves to go up towards the town centre. As you can see, she stays well within her lane markings, following round, signalling off, double checking that second roundabout and heading up the hill. Now when you get to the top of the hill here, just before the traffic lights, there is actually a keep clear box, and it's very hard to see until you get right to the top. So if the lights do turn red and you have a car in front of you, you are going to have to wait behind the keep clear box. So as we drive over it here, just have a little look at that. Now the destination has now changed to following signs to Corby. So as we approach the sign here, we can see that Corby is going to be a right and then immediate left at the traffic lights. So if you've planned ahead here, as soon as we come round to the right, you should position yourself straight over, just as she does here, into that left-hand lane, ready for the left turn at this next set of lights towards Corby. So here she gets asked to do another pull up on the left. Now obviously this one, we're on a little bit of a busier road, so you do have to really make sure you're checking all your surroundings before pulling away. And again, she does really well with this one on another slight hill here, so very good control as we pull away here. She's also now been instructed that that was the end of the independent drive, and she is now going to be following the examiner's direction. So that's to follow the road ahead at all times unless road signs or markings tell you otherwise, or the examiner gives you the directions in good time. Now on approach to this next roundabout here, we're going left first exit. And again with this one, you want to start getting those observations in as soon as you have visibility. So already here, looking through the hedges and the trees, you can see if there's any traffic coming ahead if you look through there. These early observations really help eliminate those unnecessary stops at the roundabout. Now on this roundabout here, we're going right second exit, so signalling right on approach, but I do suggest that you don't signal off on this one, as it can be confused with that road immediately to the left there. So on approach here, really taking note of that change of speed to 40, making sure that if it's safe to do so, we do progress up to the 40 mile an hour. You don't want to continue through at 30. If it's safe to be going at 40 miles an hour, that's absolutely what's going to be expected of you here. Now coming up ahead here, we're going to be taking the right hand turn towards Walkton. So we've got a box junction to turning in to the right shortly. So well positioned straight into that box and following it round. So again, note the change of speed there. We're onto a national speed limit road, so making progress if it's safe to do so. Now on approach here, we can see we've got a single track bridge without any priority system in place. So it's just important that you cast your eyes over that bridge. If there's an oncoming vehicle that looks like it's going to be quite progressive through, then you can just slow down and wait for them to pass. Or you can be the broad shoulders, centre yourself, I'm coming through. So really taking our time up through this village when we can't see around the bends here. There could be parked cars on the side, pedestrians walking. As we can see here, we actually haven't got any pavement on this side. So along these rural tracks here, she's been making good progress, taking the bends at sensible speed, so really good work on the rurals here. We're going to be taking this right turning where we're going to come to now a few meeting and passing situations, so really anticipating and planning the oncoming vehicle and who's got priority here. Now here she gets asked to perform her manoeuvre, which is the pull up on the right and reversing 2 car lengths. Now she does actually struggle with this a little bit, just not taking her time and getting that positioning quite right. So she does have a little bit of correction to be made here. However, she continuously observes throughout and keeps the situation safe, so it just goes through as a driving fault for brushing the curb. It is always tricky when you're asked to do these manoeuvres around dropped curbs, because obviously you can very easily mount the pavement without a warning or a little bounce off that curb. So do make sure you're really keeping your eye on the curb line as well as you're reversing back. So manoeuvre finished, we're now pulling back off, heading down the road, and do get asked to pull up on the left about a car length's distance from this vehicle in front here, so that we can perform an angled start from behind another vehicle. And when you're performing these pull-ups on the left, the examiner may say to you, do not worry about the dropped curbs on this occasion. So in that case, then you could pull on the left in front of a dropped curb. But if you haven't been instructed to do so, then don't pull up in front of people's driveways, as it will be classed as inconvenient. So here we're back to those junctions and hazards. We've got the zebra crossing, we're approaching a mini roundabout here, so really making sure you're getting those effective observations and scanning the road. It's sometimes easy to get complacent when you've just been on quite a quiet road for some time. So along this road here, she was asked to pull up on the left in a safe place. So she finds a suitable, safe place to pull up on the left here. No obstructions, raised curb, not near any junctions, etc. And then when it was safe to do so, she then continues to drive ahead. So on approach to this roundabout here, we're going left first exit. We're on the home stretch now, so hoping that she doesn't get too nervous on the lead back to the test centre. But on this occasion here, we're waiting. It's quite a busy little roundabout, this one, but she recognises a blocker over from the left and takes that opportunity, so that was really well done there. So this road is going to lead us back down to that busy roundabout that we had at the beginning of the test. This time we're going to be heading right, fourth exit back towards the test centre. So again with this one, your nerves might be back up knowing that you're heading back towards the test centre, so really taking your time, getting that speed of approach set and observing on the way in. So here again we can see we've got a few cars coming round, so she safely comes to a stop and waits for a suitable space to come here. So very nicely positioned around that roundabout there. Going straight ahead, second exit on this one. Now, as we discussed earlier, really making sure that as we come back through this industrial estate, we're planning ahead in case we meet any of those oncoming HGVs around the bend. You see we've got one approaching this corner here. We've usually also got quite a few parked cars, a lot of learners of course around this area as well, so just really keeping it cautious around these bends. Now as we pull back in towards the test centre, you'll notice that once we turn left and then we have to turn right and cross a bend, and it's very, very important that you slow right down and get the effective observations over from the left to make sure there's no one coming around that bend. You don't want to fall at the last hurdle. So you see here as we have to turn right in towards the test centre, she gets a really good look over to the left, taking her time, and then safely pulls into the right there. Now because she's already completed her manoeuvre, she can now just pull forward into any of the bays here. Really good drive there, job well done, and she managed to pass with only 4 driving faults, so very well done. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe.